Artistic Gamer 7, and welcome back to another speed build video here on the channel. So, I don't know if I exactly mentioned it in the Frosted Mansion or not, but I do know, at least with the Frosted Mansion, how long ago I actually made that video and it never made it on the channel. There's actually a few speed build videos that I've actually done that have sort of met the same fate. For some reason, they just sort of sit in my folders, and I see them, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to edit that and post it, or I need to post it because it may already be edited, or mostly edited, and for some reason, they just get left in the folder on their own, and I don't quite make it around to actually, like, fully editing them and getting them out and up onto my channel, but I still want to show them to you guys because a lot of them I did still quite enjoy making and I really liked how they turned out. So I still want to share them with you guys even though they are a little bit older builds, and honestly for some of you, you may not have some of the newer packs anyway, so you could probably easily download these more than some of my newer builds because I tend to have a habit to use pretty much any pack that I can. Except for everyone. There's usually exclusion of like some packs, but not as often as, or not as many exclusions as there probably should be, I should say. But this one is a little bit newer than the Frosted Mansion, so it's not like it is was sitting around as long as the Frosted Mansion, but it wasn't honestly too long afterwards. I still think it was like after Get Famous came out and before what I believe was Strangerville. I believe that was the next one to come out, but I think it was like whichever the next pack was, and I think it was Strangerville. It was definitely like towards the beginning of the year after Get Famous came out, so this was like in January, February time of after Get Famous. I made this, and it is actually, because I made it with the intentions of having another lot not only for my, like, a lot of my Sims to enjoy, but also a lot that had use of, like, the extra area for the VIP people, so the celebrities. So this lounge, when I was first making it, I actually really didn't know what to call it, but considering the fact that the colors that I used, for the most part, were colors similar to a Calico cat, in some degree, other than the fact that I didn't really use black, though some calicos are actually like a muted color and they actually don't have black or anything, but I still have like similar tones. And I also own a Calico cat, and this was actually in Brindleton Bay. I actually decided to call this Calico Couture. That was just a random name I decided to give it. I thought it was sort of fitting for this, considering it was a place for, like, famous people to hang out, and it was in Brindleton Bay, which is the world that obviously brought us cats and dogs. So I was, you know, quite just trying to pick up from that area. This is in, I forget what was in this lot area. I think it was another lounge, and that's what this is. It is a lounge. You technically, a lot of times I'll make some of my builds multi-use. A lot of times the lounge can also double as a bar, so if you don't want to have another lounge lot, this can be a bar. There is 2 bars in here, one on the VIP section and one down below for regular people. The only sad thing about that is usually you only get 1 bartender. I've seen randomly, I don't know if it was like a glitch that happened for me or what, but I have randomly sometimes had 2 bartenders, but it's very rare. There's probably a mod out there somewhere that allows there to be more bartenders on a lot if there is enough bars, but I don't have it, and I actually wouldn't mind having it if I could find it, if that does actually exist. With how this community is with mods, it wouldn't surprise me because there's a mod for almost everything out there, which I actually love, so I am perfectly fine with that. I also remember actually making this particular lot, even though it was quite a long time ago. One of the things I do remember about this lot is also trying to keep in mind if you decided to have certain like events here, so like certain parties and things like that. So there is actually a kitchen in this lot. It's probably one of the few that I've put an actual full-on kitchen in, but it is like a full-on working kitchen. It's got multiple counter space, it's got stoves and a refrigerator and everything for if you do have a party and you forget to actually like bring a cake or whatever stuff you need, like certain meals and things like that, there is ways to get food in this lot so that you don't have to worry about it or try to make it beforehand or go back out and make it or like go into build mode and do it. So there is that option there for you. Also, there is a lot of seating areas for your Sims, whether they are famous enough to go to the VIP section or not so famous to not go. There is seating in multiple places in this. In my interpretation, like, lounges, the one big thing that would like set them apart is from like the bar area, like a bar actually, because you know they both usually have a bar in them to some degree, but and I think that's actually a requirement in the game, is both of them have to have a bar somewhere. But a lounge is more of like a chill, relaxed place that you would go to more during the day versus towards the evening, nighttime. But yeah, so it's like a more chill place to sit down and just talk and relax, maybe even read a book or something randomly. So there is a lot of seating space. There's an area with a lot of windows around it. You almost should be seeing me put the windows down now, if not very soon, for that particular section. But it's got a lot of windows, so it's more of like a indoor-outdoorsy section. There's outdoor seating, there's balcony seating, there's like on those little, that upper small balcony that's part of the VIP section. It's technically a more private balcony, but again, that is towards the VIP section. Only celebrities can get up to that balcony. But hey, if you got a celebrity couple or something, that's a great place for them to go sit and chill and, like, you know, watch this, like, watch a sunset or sunrise or something, or just chill together sitting up there sort of separately. There is a fireplace also in the VIP section to sit around. So, you know, there is quite a few more things to do throughout the build. I try to make my builds as multifunctional and like be able to use them for multiple things or things like that, because when I feel like some of the generic community lots that are like already there, I partially didn't use them because sometimes it just didn't feel unique, and sometimes they didn't feel like they had like enough of a purpose for me to bother even going there. So that's one of the things I do really try in my builds, is I try, depending on what type of build it is, I try to have it multifunctional and like have many things to do and also be a little bit unique and different. And though it may have like a main purpose, whether it's mainly supposed to be like a bar or a lounge or a nightclub or a park, that it can almost double as something else. Or also in the sense of, if it is like a park, I want all ages to enjoy it. Obviously with a nightclub, a nightclub and things like that, you probably wouldn't be having all ages enjoy it, obviously, but with the ones that would be geared towards, I try to make sure that there is enough stuff to do for all ages. So hopefully that not only myself, but other people, if you just choose to download this, will have multi-uses for it and actually really truly enjoy it and be able to use it quite often. But anyway, back to what I do remember of the build. The section that you were seeing, or just seeing, where I'm placing the flowers, I cut some of that out because it became a very repetitive process, and getting really, like, in between some of the areas to put those flowers in was quite hard. In some places I had to maneuver the camera so awkwardly, and I was stacking some of them on top of each other because in those tightly knitted areas, a plant would probably start growing thicker to try to reach the sunlight, more so than maybe along the edges. And also, it just sort of looked nicer to sort of almost see the flowers in that section, and I can imagine that they would even potentially try to cut back some of the front section, but in those hard-to-reach places and places that are just a gap, that they would just let it grow until it gets too close to being over the fence or something like that. But I thought it actually looked really nice, but it was really annoying to do. I also, in these little indented places, put some flowers. I think I forgot to originally put them on the left and right side of the building, but I think towards the end you'll see me actually add those over there as well. But yeah, I just really wanted this to actually look really appealing from the front. So that's why I sort of spent a while with the flowers and things like that. And I also wanted it to sort of fit in with Brindleton Bay also a little bit, while still looking a little bit on the fancier side. Not that Brindleton Bay can't look fancy, but because it is more of like a, almost like a cozy but fishing town type feel to it. It's got more of that small town coastal vibe almost. So I wanted the building to stand out but not completely stand out. So if you get my drift there, so I still wanted it to be like inviting and look like the area, but look a little bit nicer with that little balcony area that is automatically like sort of set back there because it's not even on the lot. It sort of helps this area looking a little bit fancier, not actually making it, it doesn't stand out is what I'm trying to get to. Words. Words, I can't get the words out of my brain and, well, from out of my brain to my mouth and out the mouth. Can't get that to work right now. That's honestly a daily struggle, though, so I can't even say just right now. But yeah, anyway, so I do spend a long time on the outside, more so than I usually do with some of the community lot builds. I will say with the community lots, I tend to build them a little bit faster than the residential lots. I think a big part of that actually has to do with the fact that with the residential lots, especially when it comes to the bedrooms, I start to get very nitpicky on making sure that I show personality in those rooms, versus a community lot you're not going to show as, you know, show like personality of the area, but not so much huge personality, because there's not one in particular person in mind. It's multiple people in mind, so you don't want to go too strong in a certain direction and it not actually fit for everyone, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, but anyway, so right now just filling in like the backyard area. I didn't put much back here, but I do actually put like a set of those like string lights around the back side and make it look a little bit pretty for nighttime. I actually think I'd play around with the day and nighttime cycles just to see what it looks like. I tend to do that a lot with some builds, especially community lot builds. They're the ones I tend to check to see how they look at nighttime as well as during the day, more so than residential lots. Because residential lots, for the most part, and the only times you're probably going to be outside is when you're having like family, like during the nighttime. It's when you're having family over and stuff, and it's not going to matter as much. But for a community lot, sometimes you want it to still be pretty and aesthetically pleasing during the nighttime as well as during the daytime. So I will a lot of times check with the day and nighttime cycles to see what the lot looks like during the day and during the nighttime, just to see, can you actually, does it realistically look like it can be seen? Can you like walk around and it not be too dark? Because in real life, obviously Sims can probably travel around in the pitch black dark and be fine, because, you know, they're more of a programmed feature than an actual person, but I still like to have some realism when I do some of these builds. So just imagining to have to walk through around a community lot in the pitch black dark would not be very appealing to me. I've actually been, one of the cities that is near me, there's certain sections where I've been out at night with friends, or even Pokemon Go hunting a while back ago. Haven't done that in a very long time, but when it first came out, me and my friends actually did that, and we would walk around downtown. And there were some places that wasn't as lit up, and they were very, very creepy, and we tried to avoid those places most of the time. So yeah, I definitely would prefer my Sims to have some lovely lighting at nighttime. And some of the places really, really strongly need that nighttime lighting, like a nightclub. So yeah, I feel like a lounge probably wouldn't be as busy at nighttime, personally, like the way that I think of a lounge, unless there's an event going on. So like if you have like some sort of event happening, obviously you can, I think you can have weddings at lounges, so, you know, this could be a thing. I think, if I remember correctly, that place out there that's overlooking the water might actually have a wedding arc back there. I can't remember, but I almost want to say it does. So, you know, maybe. But, well, obviously I sort of planned it to potentially have something like that with the kitchen, but personally I feel like an area, like, if this was realistic, something like this would be more of the reception area, and not so much the location of the actual wedding. But if there is that wedding arc back there, like I'm thinking it is, then you could sort of go with that sort of feel to it. This would still be, I would still have Sims have potentially weddings here and just sort of go more towards the feel that this was the reception area. Like, this would be a great reception place. Especially if you're a famous Sim with famous friends. Just know if you have any family members that are not so famous, they may be left out just a tad bit. But yeah, so now one thing I do remember is when doing the layout of this, and you'll see me doing the layout, I do cut out putting all the lights in and actually putting the wallpaper and flooring in. There are certain things that I sort of decide whether or not I'm going to cut them out or not if the video potentially can get too long or it's an awkward length. And so I did cut out the lighting and I did cut out putting the flooring and the wallpaper in, but I left the layout this time. And the downstairs bathrooms, the way that I was trying to do things, I remember was a little bit complicated and a little bit hard to do at first. I was like, how am I going to do this and make sure there's at least enough bathrooms? Because I do actually, like, plan this to also be in my main save. I am someone who actually uses MCC and has set the number of people that can be, number of Sims that can be on a lot up to a higher number than the game initially allows. I think the game's default number is 20, I believe, if I am not mistaken. As for mine, I think I switched it to 50. That is partially because I like seeing my Sims out and about, and a lot of times my created Sims, except for certain ones, you don't see too often for some reason. Like, the first Sims to show up at the lot usually are Sims that are just randomly generated, and then the last so many are my Sims. So not only did I want a higher chance of seeing my, like, one of the things was like, well, if I put the number up and my Sims are starting to show up after some of the generated Sims, maybe a lot more of my Sims will show up. And even if my Sims start showing up more in the first place, that will give a chance for more of them to come. But I just like seeing my Sims, like, mingling out and stuff. Like, seeing the ones that I don't have control over and seeing how they react to stuff. And if you actually watch the Forgotten Family, with the 45th episode, which was the last one of that series, you actually will hear me talk about how something happened off camera. I'm not going to spoil it, just in case you do want to go watch it. But something did happen off camera. I did take screenshots, and I showed those screenshots in that episode just to, like, be like, hey, yeah, this happened. I was controlling my Sim, and 3 Sims from 3 different households that I had no control over had a drama thing happen. Obviously, one of them was from the Forgotten Family. But yeah, had this big drama event happen, and I like when stuff like that happens. I have no control over these Sims. I can't, like, say, yeah, go do this, don't do this. I just watch them, and it's like, ooh, what's gonna happen? So I like stuff like that. But yeah, so keeping in mind that in my save, a lot of Sims could show up, I definitely like my community lots to have some bathroom choices. Obviously, sometimes depending on the size of the lot and what I'm trying to do, sometimes I can't do as many bathrooms as I want to, but I did really want to try to make sure I get quite a few bathrooms in this lounge area, especially if you are deciding to do an event here. There is some bathrooms in the VIP section and also in the lower non-VIP section, obviously. So there should be quite a few bathrooms. There should not, I think there's like 3 in each downstairs, and then maybe 2 or 3 in the one upstairs. But yeah, so, you know, about 10 Sims should be able to go to the bathroom at the same time. I'm hoping that, you know, that satisfies the Sims enough until, you know, to keep things moving so that there's not a backup for the bathrooms. Now, one thing I seen while rambling on about the whole bathroom thing and how many Sims come to a lot that passed up that I remembered I wanted to talk about, and I have things that happen sometimes when I'm building these. I'm like, I need to try to remember to talk about it, and sometimes I don't. And considering this one was a while ago, partially surprises me that I remember it, but because I seen myself trying to compare all the countertops to that bar, was a little bit easier to remind myself about it. But I hate how only a few of the bars have countertops that perfectly match them. There's some bars that you could sort of get away with some of the countertops matching it. This was not one of them, but sometimes, like, especially, like, with a lounge, I probably wouldn't have had to worry as much, but since I had such a big space there, I wanted to sort of extend the bar just a little bit. But for something like an actual bar, you're gonna have a lot of people coming there specifically to go to the bar, and usually bars that I have been to usually had, like, at least 10 seats at it. So I like to be able to try to add countertops to them if possible, but not all the bars have a matching countertop, or like I said, even one that even is remotely close to it. So it's really hard to try to match them up and actually extend your bar past the 4 seating at the actual bar. So I really wish there was countertops to match most of the bars, or at least try to get close to it. I know if you have, like, CC items, sometimes that will help you, and I do have a lot of CC build items, actually. But I do actually build these builds without CC, and except for a few occasions, every once in a while I'll actually upload a video of a CC build, but for the most part I try not to do the CC builds just because I want people to be able to have a chance to download this, and trying to list CC used in a build is a lot harder than even a cast, and even cast can get pretty hard. And I actually don't usually list my CC, but I will go and find any particular CC that people ask for, and it is a lot easier for me to track down that CC than my build and buy CC. But I do actually always have in my description the common places I find my CC, whether it is Create a Sim CC or Build and Buy CC. So even in my build videos, I still put those links down there for anyone who is interested. I forget to mention them every single build and Create a Sim video, but they are down there on both my build and Create a Sim. So if you're ever curious where I do get my CC at, you can go check those links down below. As for the actual, like, downloading the build, I should probably usually mention this towards the beginning, but sometimes I just start rambling and, like, completely forget for some reason to say this, but I did already mention the name at least. It is going to be Calico Couture. It is going to be up on the gallery if you would like to download this for your own play and in your own save. So it'll be up there again, no CC. I did use build bb.move objects on, so just keep that in mind. A lot of times if you set a build down without that on when they've used it, it will a lot of times, or at least it used to, it may not do it as much anymore, but where I tend to try to build my own stuff now, except for when I've done my collab videos, I actually don't usually set other builds down, even though there's a lot of talented builders out there. I just sort of I want my main save to eventually be stuff that's all mine. So it's like a sort of thing that I could be proud of at some point. But yeah, anyway, so if you want to download it, it is up on my gallery, Artistic Gamer 7 Calico Couture. If you forget those, both my origin ID and the name for this build will be down in the description below. If you cannot find it, please let me know on my Twitter or in the comments, and I will either send you a link from the website version of the gallery, or check and make sure that it did actually upload properly and that I remembered to upload it. So sometimes it could be just that it just did not get uploaded, and then sometimes it's I forgot or it's gotten lost somewhere in the gallery. But yeah, just definitely make sure to let me know if you're wanting to download it and you cannot find it. I would definitely help you in that situation. At this point in the build, it should be getting to the point where I have most of the downstairs done, and I'll be going to the VIP section to finish it up. But I actually am just gonna leave the video to just play music for the rest of it. I hope you really are enjoying this build and you like how it turned out. If so, please hit that lovely like button. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so that you know when other videos actually do go live. Again, the origin information for this build is going to be down in the description, as well as my social media, so if you have any problems, you can contact me on my Twitter. That is the main one and the best one to try to contact me on. So definitely make sure to follow me over on there, and I will also a lot of times try to remember to post the builds from the gallery when they're up on the gallery to my Twitter as well, so you can make sure to see if they actually are up or not in that way as well. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. The screenshots are at the end. They shouldn't be too far from now, so you should be seeing those quite soon. But anyway, thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!